Welcome back. It is the story that everyone is talking about. Federal officials just finished briefing House Intelligence Committee members about the recent drone sightings over the tri-state area. We've heard from a number of Democrats on the committee as they left the briefing, and pretty much all of them say that they did feel reassured that the drones are not a threat and that there's been no evidence of any kind of nefarious or illegal activity. Now, this classified briefing comes as the Homeland Security Department, the FBI, and the FAA and the Pentagon are trying to assure the public that the drones seen in recent weeks do not pose a national security threat. They released a joint statement that says, quote, having closely examined the technical data and tips from concerned citizens, we assess that the sightings to date include a combination of lawful commercial drones, hobbyist drones, and law enforcement drones, as well as manned fixed-wing aircraft, helicopters, and stars mistakenly reported as drones. White House National Security Communications Advisor John Kirby this morning defended the government's response to the drone sightings as local officials and some members of Congress accused the administration of mishandling the issue and minimizing their concerns.
As open and as transparent with the American people as we can be. What we won't do is speculate or hypothesize about something we don't know.
And I'm pleased to be joined now by Congressman Ami Bera, who is a Democrat from California and a member of the House Intelligence Committee. Congressman, thank you so much for being here. So just give us the top lines. What did you hear in this briefing today, and are you satisfied?
Well, thank you for having me on. I am satisfied. I think the FBI, the local law enforcement agencies, the intelligence community, taking this very seriously, and we're transparent with this. To date, they've seen no evidence of anything nefarious.
But is that enough for your constituents? Is it enough for the constituents of your colleagues that represent places like New Jersey and New York that have seen what they can't explain with their own eyes? Do they actually need to know specifically what each one of these I guess, aircraft are in order to feel calm, or is it enough for them just to take the government's word for it?
No, I think, again, there's still more to do. We've obviously, we're moving equipment into the region to better monitor and detect things. But what was also apparent was, just the rapid proliferation of drones, hobbyists, Amazon talking about delivering packages. Congress has to do more as well to make sure we have the tools and the ability to identify the radio frequencies, that we can identify these drones fairly quickly and rapidly. So, we're taking this very seriously. I think the FBI is taking it seriously. We understand the public's concern, and we'll continue to investigate the sightings.
And do you think that the federal agencies that you've heard from today have been forthcoming with everything they know about these sightings, or is there a few things that they're still kind of keeping quiet for classified reasons or for whatever reason they feel it's not worth sharing?
I feel fairly confident that they shared, in a classified setting, everything that they have to date. And again, I'm reassured to date they've seen nothing that was nefarious activities.
So you mentioned this a little bit, but I want to talk more about the Biden administration and their efforts to ask Congress to pass legislation to give federal, state, and local governments more authority to deregulate drones. I'm sorry, to regulate drones, not deregulate. This is what John Kirby said this morning on the Today Show. Take a listen.
I don't want to downplay the fact that there's an awful lot of drone activity over the skies of the United States, and we do need better authorities to deal with that growing ecosystem of drones in U.S. airspace. There are gaps and seams between the federal government and state government. There are gaps and seams in local authorities. Congress needs to help us get through this.
Do you agree with that?
I do. I mean, my colleague from Pennsylvania, Congresswoman Houlihan, has a great piece of legislation. That's a start. But what's readily apparent to us after today's hearing is just the number of folks that are going to have drones. We're going to see more drones, not less drones. So we've got to make sure we've got the tools, the authorities, and the ability to quickly identify the drones.
And is this something you could do before you leave for your holiday break, or is that unrealistic given all the things you do have to do before you leave town?
There's a piece of legislation out there. We talked about it in the committee. It is one that could be brought up, and I think you'd find pretty broad support. The FBI, others say this would be a good first step. So I would urge us to take it up.
All right, well, let's talk about some of the other tasks that you and your colleagues have in front of you before Friday. The first most pressing being whether or not you can get the government funded past the deadline of Friday. We still have yet to see text of the continuing resolution that's being negotiated. Are you confident that you're going to be able to get it done by Friday? And what, if any, hang-ups right now are part of these negotiations?
Look, this is Congress, so you can never say with confidence anything. I think we're going to get it done, but I thought we would see text over the weekend, and now we're running into the middle of the week. So let's get this done. Let's come together in a bipartisan way, serve the American people. Nobody wants a government shutdown, and let's fund the government. And
probably the folks that have been complaining the most about this have been conservative Republicans. If it gets to the point where this bill gets to the floor under suspension, meaning it doesn't go through the Rules Committee, it will require Democrats to vote for it in order to get to that two-thirds majority. Do you think the Democratic votes will be there?
Likely. I mean, we want to make sure there's good disaster relief funding in there. We want to make sure we protect the vulnerable and that there's good farm provisions in there. Funding our priorities, but this is definitely going to end up having to pass with Democratic votes. The knuckleheads in the majority who are saying they're going to vote no anyways. So, let's just get this done and get it passed.
And then finally, Congressman, I want to ask you about kind of the battle over generational supremacy in the Democratic caucus right now. We saw it play out with a battle between Jerry Connolly and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez for the top Democratic seat on the House Oversight Committee. Congressman Connolly won that. Could you share with us how you voted in that race, and where do you think what do you think it means for the future of your party?
I think what we saw was two talented legislators, talented folks in Jerry Connolly, who's been doing this for a long time, and then a rising star in Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. She's got a bright future here. I just think folks understand that Jerry Connolly had the experience from the first Trump term. He was very effective in that term. He's been an effective member of the Oversight Committee. So this was less about age. It was about someone who's been doing this for a long time. That's not to take anything away from AOC. I think she presented a very strong, positive case, and she's going to be a valued ally on that committee.
Well, what else can your party do, though, to embrace this next generation of leaders like Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez?
I mean, I think we should continue to give her more and more responsibilities. I mean, we've seen her evolve into a very effective legislator. I serve on the AI task force with her, and very thoughtful, asked hard questions, and wrote good pieces of legislation. So again, they're the future. So I think she knows how to communicate. She's got skills. Very intelligent, very articulate. So I would hope that we find a role to tap into those talents.
Okay, Congressman Ami Bera, we got a lot in with you during this conversation. We appreciate it, sir. Have a nice holiday.
Be well.
All right.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.